Hello and welcome to Healing Inspiration. I am Ramona and today's reading is How Do Men View You? We have 3 piles here that we're going to introduce in a moment. And if you would like a personal and private reading with me, you can take a look in the description box below. You can send me an email and that's in the description box, or you can go visit my Etsy shop and purchase a reading from there. And I will just introduce the piles and get into your reading. Pile 1 is this card, Keep Your Thoughts Positive. Pile 2 is Treat Yourself to Something Beautiful Today. And pile 3 is Commit to Self-Care Rituals. So go ahead and choose your pile or piles and we'll get into your reading. If you chose this card, Keep Your Thoughts Positive. And this reading is How Do Men View You? From the Rider-Waite Tarot, we have the 6 of Pentacles, the 7 of Cups, from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, we have Temperance, and the 9 of Wands. From the Muse Tarot, we have the 4 of Inspiration, or the 4 of Wands. And the Page of Voices. From the Light Seers Tarot, we have the 3 of Swords. And the 7 of Swords. From the Archetype deck, we have Mother. Light attributes, nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. And the shadow attributes are smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. And finally, we have Don Juan. Light attribute spotlights your positive, seductive qualities, and shadow attribute, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. And breathe in bliss, exhale bullshit. Let's see if we can get all of these cards in camera. On camera. All right, so how do men view you? First of all, with the 6 of Pentacles, that is like the pre-justice card. So they find you to be someone who is fair and balanced, for sure, and very generous. It's like you're the type of person that would give your shirt off your back to help others. And I feel like you're seen as someone who attracts people who are needy or in need because you are such a beautiful light and such a generous person. And so you may attract the people who may just give crumbs to you. Maybe those are not the only people you attract, but you tend to attract a lot of people like that, who just want to take and take from you rather than give to you. And maybe those people really don't have much to give. And it's like that moth to a flame, like you are light, and so they're attracted to your light. And they see your generous and kind spirit, and they come towards you to get some of your light. You know what I'm saying? And then with the 7 of Cups, they see men view you as someone who has a lot of options. A lot of options in love and in life in general. Like you could have your choice of partners, careers, like you are not limited. It's like only your dreams limit you. Only your fantasies and, where the limits of your mind are, that's your only limit. Because they see you as having a lot of opportunities in your life. Also, they could see you as someone who is a fantasy person, like they fantasize about you a lot. And not only sexually, but they fantasize about having fun with you, talking with you, being a part of your life. They feel like that would be a dream come true. That would be exciting. That would be fun and interesting to be in your life. And I think a lot of people think about you and fantasize about you. And I'm also feeling with this card Pisces energy because of that dreamy energy. So there's a dreamy energy connected to you. Then with this Temperance card, but not only the Temperance card, but also this Keep Your Thoughts Positive card, I'm feeling a very regal type of energy with this. They feel like you're very poised. You carry yourself with self-respect and care. You're not someone to be messed with. You are a very strong person, like strong in your determination, in your spirit. I feel like your presence is, whether you're a small, tiny person or a bigger person, it's like you have this very strong, big presence. And it may even be a more silent presence. To some people, they may feel like you don't talk a lot. Like you stand in your own energy. And that makes your energy very powerful. And once again, we do have this balance and justice energy coming through here because Temperance is about balance. They feel like you're patient, you're determined, that you exude a quiet confidence. They also think you're a good listener. Like you'd be a good partner and someone who would care for others. They definitely feel like you've been through your own difficulties, heartbreak, deceptions, like people have, hurt you in some way here and deceived you and betrayed you, because we do with the Nine of Wands, that is the wounded warrior, and here she is actually caring for someone else. So it's like they see you as a very caring person, someone who listens. I don't think you like to share a lot of your own details, your own personal information with other people until you can really trust them. It takes you a lot to trust others, and I feel men view you that way. And physically here, one, I think they feel like your facial structure, your bone structure is very well in alignment. It's like you have good, like your features, they all match each other. Like it's a good balance of your features on your face. Like this lady, she has a very strong bone structure, but it's like perfectly aligned features. And it's like a very regal, strong looking face. Beautiful lips, nose, eyes, and facial structure. They may really like your neck, like you have a long neck. I'm feeling like your body appears to be long and strong. You may have long legs, or also, I think your face really stands out. Like her hairdo, she has very, very short hair. And over here, these ladies have very long hair. So however your hair is done, it really enhances your face and your facial structure. And I think many of you have very nice long legs. They may admire your feet as well. Yeah, with this mother, they could see you as a mother and a motherly type, or someone who would be a very good mother because of all of these nurturing and giving qualities that you have. They could see someone like you having many kids, or maybe you do have many kids, and they also see you with this Four of Wands. You could be in some kind of a spiritual group or a religious group, or someone who's just, because I feel like you're involved in some group here. So a lot of these men that we're speaking of today may see you in a group setting, whether that's work, or like I said, with a spiritual group, or maybe you are part of a sports group or something like that. And so they see you as working well with others, being a person who they could introduce their friends to and their family, and someone very highly respectable. And with this Four of Inspiration too, it does seem like even though you tend to, have a serious, professional, well put together nature, that you also know how to have fun. Because with the Four of Inspiration, it's about celebration and celebrating with others. And here we have Don Juan. So they find you to be very sexy and seductive. Your strength, just how you carry yourself especially, is very sexy and seductive. Some of you may dance and be dancers, or enjoy dancing, and they really love the way you move. I do feel like some men would view you as a person who would break their heart with this Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords, possibly because you have so many options, or their own, projections. Because you do have so much going for you, and so they feel like you could have anyone you want. So I do feel like there are some men who view you in a way where they feel like they don't measure up to you. And here with the Page of Voices, and she has her glasses on, I feel like you're someone who does your research. They see you as someone who looks into things more deeply. It looks like you seem very professional. There's a professional air to you. So whatever profession you're in, they see you as being very competent in your profession, very educated in whatever you do, and very insightful. And it does look like these people here are meditating, and it says breathe in bliss and exhale bullshit. So they see you as someone who has worked to align themselves and to overcome any difficulties they've had, and to integrate that into who you are, and to take the lessons and still be in a place to continue to pursue your happiness and look at the bright side. Because here it says keep your thoughts positive, and here breathe in bliss and exhale bullshit. So they feel like you do your best to be positive, stay positive, and follow your happiness and your bliss. All right, so that is what I have for you, Pile 1. I hope that inspired and encouraged you and gave you some insight. I thank you so much for coming to my reading. If you would like that personal private reading, you can take a look at my Etsy shop, purchase a reading from there, or send me an email to let me know what kind of reading you'd like, and we could talk about it. And I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day or evening wherever you are in the world. Namaste. Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. This is your reading if you chose this card. Treat yourself to something beautiful today. This reading is How Do Men View You? From the Rider-Waite Tarot, we have the Lovers, the King of Swords. From the Tarot of Sexual Magic, we have the World. And the Knight of Cups. From the Muse Tarot, we have the Knight of Voices, or the Knight of Swords. And the Emperor. The Four of Pentacles from the Light Seers Tarot deck. And the Ten of Wands. From the Archetype deck, we have Virgin. Maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit, and shadow attribute is fear of intimate union. And then we have Femme Fatale. Light attributes highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Shadow attributes: inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. And finally, we have Practice Feng Shui, create a sacred space. Let me get all of these cards in on screen. All right. So first of all, how do men view you or perceive you? I mean, right away with this card with all these beautiful flowers, and treat yourself to something beautiful today, I think that men view you as beautiful. Also with these two cards, like there's a lot of plants here, and there's these flowers, and she's surrounded by this wreath of flowers here. There's some trees here, and I'm feeling that they would like to give you flowers, or they feel that you're very in touch with nature. Maybe you work as a florist, or just like to have plants around you, or you spend a lot of time in nature, or maybe a lot of men see you in a natural setting, so they associate you with a more natural type of beauty and attractiveness. Some of you could practice Wicca and be very in touch with nature in that way, or be an animal lover, or someone who protects the environment. Any or all of the above. There's definitely a connection with nature here, and they feel like you have a natural beauty to you. You could smell very good. She has incense going on, and your scent actually lingers with people. When you pass them, when they see you, they remember your scent. Maybe you do wear a signature scent, or you use incense, and that incense gets on your person, and so they can smell that. If you have a tattoo, like here she has a tattoo on her shoulder, and she has a tattoo on her wrist, I think that's something they really like about you, that they see on you, and I think it has meaning and enhancement to your beauty. And we start out with the Lovers, so there is definitely strong sexual attraction, but I feel like there's this sexual attraction, but also this desire to protect you, to take care of you, to give to you. And like the women, the man here, you have the woman and man, this woman and this woman, they are completely nude. So I do think that men view you as someone they would like to see nude. Like you have this awesome body, and I'm feeling someone definitely with curves of some sort. They really admire your body. You really draw people in with your sensuality, because we also have this femme fatale, And then we have this Virgin and this Knight of Cups. Like, even though she's sitting here completely nude, she's being very demure. Like, oh, who, me? You know? And so I feel like they still sense this innocence with you as well. Even though there's like this strong sensual sexiness to you, there's like an innocence that they perceive with you. Like, even some of you who might be older, they may assume you're younger as well. There's like a youthfulness to you, a naivete. And that's not to say you're naive or inexperienced, because you also have the King of Swords and the Emperor. So on top of that, you also have the Knight of Voices. So they feel that you're a very direct communicator. You're someone who walks in authority. You could be a person who is a boss type of person. You can take authority, take control of a room. You can assert your boundaries. And they feel like you're very stable, you're strong. You're someone who's also balanced, very well balanced in your masculine and your feminine energy. You can step into either of those energies as is proper and as is suitable for the situation. You can take the lead, and you can also be on the receptive end. You can speak very clearly and concisely. They find your intelligence to be very, very high. Like, you have a very high intelligence, particularly in how you communicate. And here with the Emperor is often a masculine energy, but there's a feminine here. So your masculine and your feminine are very integrated within who you are as a person. And you just flow in that energy. You can go from the masculine to the feminine, back to the masculine energy as needed, and you just flow. It just comes very natural to you. Some of you may be gender fluid. I feel like men view you as being a very accepting person of differences. Like, you accept people as they are. It's like, I hear you'd cut a bee, you know what I'm saying? Not that you would be violent, but it's like your words could cut someone. And I feel like they view you as someone who doesn't take crap, but I feel you as more of a protector of people who are vulnerable. You have this vulnerable aspect to you, and it seems like you're not afraid. They see you as not afraid of being vulnerable. You can be very proud of your body and just who you are because of this nudity. And all of these people who are nude appear to be very comfortable in their nudity and their body. You may have not always felt like that, because she's this virgin. She has her arms covering her body. And maybe you have that aspect too, of like your inner child is very protective of itself. And it's like you are a person who does protect yourself, protect your heart. But it feels very healthy, a healthy level of protection. Like, you don't protect yourself to keep others completely away, but you want to make sure that the people you do allow into your heart are trustworthy. And I do feel like men would not approach you that are, and maybe you haven't always been in this energy, but I feel men know that they need to approach you correctly. Whether or not, it's in a business sense, or in a personal or a romantic sense. They feel like they have to approach you correctly or they're not going to make any headway. Now this is interesting. I don't know that this is the case, but men feel like you could have a sugar daddy with this femme fatale. That you could have a sugar daddy, or they feel like they want to give you stuff, they want to take care of you, they want to give you money. It's like you have this beautiful balance where they of that innocence yet that seduction, and I feel like it's very highly sexually attractive and you arouse men just by being you, you know, not even having to show off anything or do anything, just by being you. I feel like your energy is very arousing. You definitely have a very strong sacral chakra. Men do want to give you romantic offers. They also see you as financially stable. You have 2 4s here. And as someone they could have a stable life with, you may have a stable career. Or they see you as someone who can or will have a stable career and be stable financially, if you're not already. They also see you as a very hard worker. And they think you're very physically strong, like you could carry burdens, but also emotionally and mentally strong, that you could carry burdens emotionally, mentally, physically, that you're just a very hard worker. Someone they could trust with anything, really, here. I think your back and your backside is something that they see. Your chest, something they like. You may have like I want to say flair for the dramatic at times. So if you do have that, a flair for the dramatic, a lot of these people have red hair. There's red, there's purple. So there may be something about your appearance, or if you wear makeup, that has a dramatic impact on people. So they definitely see you as someone who makes an impact when they walk in the room, and you also leave your essence when you leave. Some of you could be tarot readers. And they find that very mysterious. There's definitely like this seductive, mysterious, witchy type of quality about you. Or people feel bewitched by you. Maybe some men feel like you do magic on them just because of how they feel towards you. Like I said, your presence, who you are, arouses men. I think the back is very prominent, and if you are masculine, especially, your back looks very sexy to men, or just very strong. They think you have a strong back and that you can carry heavy loads, either way, masculine or feminine. And you could have a flair for decorating. Like, it's not, you're very colorful. You don't seem just mundane. So even if there like is a gray and white background, say, very plain, you have some kind of a pop of color. There's something that adds interest and excitement. And definitely they find you to smell really good. And also, because here, This is probably not necessarily music, but this reminds me of music and musical notes here. I feel like there's something about your voice and how you speak that is very melodic, and people like your voice. And that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I hope that inspired and encouraged you and gave you some insight. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day or evening wherever you are in the world. If you'd like a private reading, my email is in the description box, and also a link to my Etsy shop. So have a beautiful and blessed day. Namaste. Hi, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. This is your reading. You chose this Commit to Self-Care Rituals card. And this reading is How Do Men View You? From the Rider-Waite deck, we have the Knight of Wands, the Eight of Cups, from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, you have the Seven of Cups, and the Hanged Man. From the Muse Tarot, we have the Eight of Inspiration, and the Eight of Emotions, which is the Eight of Cups again. Next we have the Nine of Cups. That's from the Light Seers Tarot deck. And the Knight of Wands again. So 2 repeating cards. From the Archetype deck, we have Child Orphan. Independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. The shadow attributes, feeling of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. And Slave, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. And the shadow attribute, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. And finally, we have Forgive Someone. All right, so how do men view you? Since we have 2 Knights of Wands, very Sagittarian energy. Some of you may be Sagittariuses or have that strong in your chart. Nevertheless, they find you to be someone very youthful and exciting, someone who takes action, likes to have fun. You may be very sexually passionate and passionate in general in life. They feel like you're someone who wants to explore the world and like take action. You could be someone who definitely travels, maybe you move around a lot, and they feel like you have a lot of energy and maybe even a lot of nervous energy, but someone who likes to be on the move. Yeah, they definitely find you as very sexually appealing. They may also see you as someone who is not in the market necessarily for a commitment, a committed relationship. Like, you want to have fun, you want to explore, you don't want to be tied down. They see you as someone who does not want to be tied down. They also feel like maybe at some time you were tied down, maybe you've gotten out of a commitment, or you've had some controlling people in your life that made you feel restricted, and it's something you have left behind and gotten away from. So it's like you don't want to deal with that kind of energy at all anymore, so you would prefer to be alone. And you may be someone who does like to be alone and spend time alone. You have the Eight of Emotions, and it's like, being willing to walk away from everything, basically, and go to find your own truth, your own wisdom, your direction, your heart. I feel that they see you as someone who's not easily influenced by others, that you influence yourself. You may, have an inclination to surrender to the divine, but not so much to other people. The divine and the divine within you is something you will surrender to, something you inquire about. It feels like you're a very peaceful person still, even with all of this energy. It's like peace. I feel a lot of peace with you. There's a high level of spirituality here. With child, orphan, and slave, it does feel like you're someone with these 8 of emotions. You're someone who has experienced many challenges. Many of you in your childhood, there were in the past a lot of things that held you back. And they also see you as someone who either has forgiven or is in the process of forgiving the past, forgiving the divine, forgiving people in your life, even forgiving yourself. And releasing yourself from any ties that bind. There's definitely a lot of spiritual energy, because I do see with two 8 of Cups, it reminds me of the Hermit, because these people are going up the mountain to be the Hermit and to look at their divine wisdom. They could definitely see you as more mature and more wise than your years within, but you still are in touch with a sense of youthfulness and excitement and action. You could be someone who comes in and communicates a lot, but then you need your own space, and they see you that way. I think not many people know you that deeply. So men view you as someone who they have to imagine what you're like behind closed doors, And you're definitely someone that people dream of. You have the 9 of Cups and you have the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is fantasy. And like the way he's looking at her in this Hanged Man card, it's like such admiration and desire toward her. But in some level, it does feel like you're untouchable. They feel like you're really in your own energy, someone who takes care of you. You may not have always done that, because I do feel like you've worked on yourself. You've done a lot of healing within yourself. And you may not want to be tied down. You may not want to be in a relationship. People definitely see you as a treasure, like you have so much going for you. Men, in particular, that we're talking about here. Some of you may wear heels. If so, they find that to be sexy. Especially your legs. The legs are standing out very prominently as being sexy. I think they feel like you have a beautiful smile. You have this energy, this charisma that shines through you. Some of you may have a son or a nephew that you hang out with. Maybe you are someone who likes kids. You can be very playful with children, or they see you that way. All right, so I was just interrupted, so I lost my train of thought. But I also feel like they really like your hands. There's something very prominent here about your hands. They find them very beautiful, very sexy. They may want to hold your hand. You may have your nails done very nicely. Either way, your hands seem very healing, gentle, generous, and your lips. They love your lips. They look very kissable. And your smile just lights them up. And I'm feeling like there's this like caterpillar over here. And so they feel like you're kind of in your own cocoon usually. It's like you like to be in your own energy. I feel like they think that if they're going to approach you romantically, especially, but that they have to be very slow, very steady, and not to. It's like you have like some of this Knight of Wands that's kind of rushing in energy with this Eight of Wands, and they feel like they have to be very slow, steady, and gentle if they do want to approach you. And I feel that that people want to embrace you and kiss you and like be kind to you and loving toward you. I do see these planets around. They could see you as having a very good imagination, someone who's able to tell stories. Some of you could be actors or screenplay writers, or just be very imaginative, creative people. I'm feeling Aquarian vibes with that. I know we talked about Sagittarius, but also Aquarian vibes. And it just seems like you're very much, they view you as someone in your own energy who does your own thing. Like you're not so bothered with them. Men would think you're not so bothered with them because you're doing you, you're in your own energy, and not in a bad way, but it's like you could kind of care less for what they're doing and all of that stuff because you're following your path, you're doing your thing, you're being you, and it really feels like this independent energy. And you may have been put in a position in your life to be independent, like you've had to be independent, and you've taken that and you've empowered yourself with it, and you're comfortable in your own energy, you're comfortable alone, you're comfortable doing those things. And I think men view that and see that within you. And they definitely see a light within you. I'm seeing these candles, and light is like shining from her heart space. You do shine. And I don't think many of them know you well. So they have to use their imagination. So that is what I see for you, pile number 3. I hope that inspired and encouraged you and gave you some insight. And if you would like a personal private reading with me, you can send me an email. We can talk about it, or you can take a visit to my Etsy shop and make a purchase from there. Either way, have a beautiful and blessed day. I thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching this reading. Namaste.